Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new thriller, Reawakening. And this is from writer-director Virginia Gilbert, and this film focuses on the story of a couple whose daughter, aged 14, went missing and then reappears after a decade. And you have Jared Harris and Juliet Stevenson, who play this couple, and Erin Doherty, who is their daughter Claire, who resurfaces. Or is it Claire? Is this like a narrative version of The Imposter? And this film certainly is working in a lot of those same areas that particular film did. And here, this film has some tonal whiplash a little bit, I feel like, from what Gilbert's trying to do here is build up this thriller sense. You have Jared Harris's John, who sees his daughter in places and builds this tension. They do this one last plea of 10 years later, please help us. And then this young woman shows up. And Jared Harris is automatically like suspicious and won't talk directly to her, but when he does, going straight for questions, inquiry, all of this, while his wife, played by Stevenson, is very much just trying to pull her in and accept her. And you have this standoffishness, this interrogation. There's moments that get violent and intense, and you have this group of young people who, there's one particular young woman who seems like she might know something, and Harris is just latching on to any little thing. And this film builds up this thriller element, and it kind of builds up that expectation, but then gives way to a much more human drama kind of perspective. And where this film takes these characters, where this film processes the events here, and specific choices made by John and Mary take us in a very different direction. And this film becomes much more of a human story about the human condition and our psyche and what is more meaningful to us. Being able to move on and accept something loving in our lives, or this drive to know the truth and live the truth and uncover the truth. And this film is balancing those two perspectives, like it's balancing this thriller versus drama kind of perspective. And, I think Gilbert struggles a little bit in smoothing out that balance and that transition, but by the end, there's some moments in this film. There's a particular moment in a shed between John and his daughter Claire, this revelation that how it is shot is so impactful. The camera's on Jared Harris, and Jared Harris's performance in this scene is incredible. He says almost nothing, but you just feel the tears, the emotion, you feel all of it building up. And then you hear Doherty telling her story and what this perspective and their history, and you feel the emotion in her voice, and it sells it. And it's so interesting having that dichotomy in that scene. Stevenson, Doherty, Harris are all giving these emotionally charged performances with all of this emotion just right underneath the surface. And I think Harris in particular is incredible here. And it's a small-scale thriller that's probably not going to get a ton of attention, and this certainly isn't like a big prestigious kind of film. Like Harris is also in like Catherine Bigelow's new film, House of Dynamite. But this one is a much smaller film that gives him this central piece to really work with and sell this really powerful performance. This film also, from like a narrative standpoint, sets up a bunch of stuff that never really pays off, but is a kind of the point from where John's character, the character John Harris's character, winds up going, doesn't make sense. I do think that this film's going to be a little bit challenging for audiences because not everything's going to be like tied up nicely. But where it takes these characters is a very moving and poignant place that I feel like Gilbert delivers upon in this, lower budgeted, but still incredibly well acted, intense film that packs quite a bit of a punch, even if it's not the most refined execution of its ideas. But those are my thoughts on Reawakening. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.